the fuck up. Let me die in peace.
Episode 6, Season 1 of Better Call Saul was the first time the Breaking Bad universe introduced us a thorough backstory of Mike. Mike is a retired police officer from Philadelphia. His son Matty was also a police officer from Philadelphia. The episode begins with the known fact that Matty died, and the only reason why Mike was in Albuquerque was to take care of his granddaughter and daughter-in-law. It was up to Mike to be the man of the house, since he thought it was his responsibility to take care of them, especially his granddaughter, Kaylee, since she would be growing up without a father. Throughout the show, Mike's attempts to bond with Kaylee is emphasized, a clear representation of Mike attempting to be the father figure in the unfortunate absence of his son, Matty. On a superficial level, it seems to be a common familial courtesy and responsibility to help his son's family after his death, but the story is more profound than that. In this episode, it is revealed that Matt was murdered by his colleagues. Matt was on duty and uncovered money during an investigation. He called his father Mike for advice, contemplating whether he should proceed with the report or not. Mike implored Matt not to, because it would get him killed if he proceeded to report them, even if he acted like he was going to. Matt stubbornly refused this advice and got into a heated argument with his father. Eventually, Mike admitted that he was also a corrupted cop, like the rest of Matt's colleagues. This broke Matt since he revered his father. And so, in the end, Matt took the money and did not press charges against his colleagues. But 2 days later, he was murdered by his colleagues. Shortly after discovering this, Mike took it upon himself to seek revenge and escape to Albuquerque to start a new life. Perhaps if Matt was encouraged by his father to do the right thing, Matt would not have been murdered by his colleagues since they would have been apprehended. The fact that Mike had to debase his son's respect for him got him killed both spiritually and literally, and so this backstory provides a clear motivation as to why Mike felt the responsibility to spend his remaining years in Albuquerque to protect his family. The strong moral judgment he requires after his son's death is manifested in his criminal activities when working under Gustavo Fring. Later in the show, you can see how this permeates into his life of crime. Even though he murders people and engages in heinous criminal activities, there's always an underlying sense of morality and justice. For this reason, he distinguishes himself from other typical criminals. You could call him an anti-hero. For example, in Season 6, when Gustavo Fring wanted to kill Nacho Varga's family, Mike refused and protested that it wasn't the right thing to do, and Nacho had sacrificed a lot under Gus, infiltrating the Salamancas and being an informant for Gus.
I don't understand. That's not happening. Just say the word. Whatever happens next, it's not gonna go down the way you think it is.
The fact that Nacho's family also has to suffer the same fate as he did not sit well with Mike, and he would do anything to protect his family like he promised, even if it meant confronting his boss. Mike's scruple is an exhibition of at least some humanity, perhaps representing his moral development after his son's death. Another example is when he killed Werner Ziegler after Werner consistently broke Gustavo's and Mike's trust by escaping the meth lab facility under construction to be with his wife, immigrating from Germany. Gus ordered Mike to kill him, but out of sympathy, he told Werner to give his wife a final call before arriving at the airport and getting ambushed by Gustavo's men. Mike allowed Werner to save his wife before he killed him to balance evil with internal justice. You could argue that the way he approached his criminal activities is nuanced from other criminals featured in the show by showing a complete disregard for their victims. But Mike did not completely disregard his victims and was right, even though his line of work was wrong. His son's tragic death by sticking up for justice inspired him in how he viewed his victims and criminal activities. Returning to Mike's death scene in Breaking Bad, Mike's backstory made the scene more difficult to watch after Better Call Saul. Mike, an intelligent criminal with experience, gets killed by Walter White unexpectedly. He then sits by a river, bleeding to death, and accepts the inevitable. Maybe Mike realized after being unable to provide for his family and letting his son die, that it was probably best for him to go.
This whole thing could have been avoided.
Shut the fuck up.